Poducer.
So another fun conversation that I really wanted to have is you mentioned the word bogan.
I knew that was going to stem a question.
So I wanted to go over a couple Australian slang words. And I guess a good place to start would be bogan. What is that?
Bogan is an Australian redneck. That's the most concise way to explain it. So like it seems like to me, I don't know if it's the same, but is redneck a pretty specific term, or is there kind of like a little bit of a broad category with redneck?
You got your different kinds of rednecks. I'd say you got like your more like racist rednecks.
Yeah.
Like you got your more like I'm a farmer redneck. And right. I think it has to do with like getting burnt in the sun, being a farmer or like a rancher, and you got like a redneck from the sunburn. Right. I think that's where it derives from. Again, Google. We don't have a guy to look that up today.
Yeah.
But
you look it up.
But that's you got your different variants of rednecks, but I would say so a bogan is like a dude kind of like a more like living in the bush or like living in like the more remote areas, or like they're a little bit trashier or something.
I think trashy is a good
because we got the
word
white trash. I guess it doesn't have to be specific to white people, but generally it's more white dominated.
Yeah, I think bogan. Yeah, it doesn't have to be white. You don't have to be white specifically to be bogan, but there is definitely like a white trash vibe that bogan kind of puts a pin in. But it's definitely, there's some stereotypes. So like, I would say there's definitely like a suburban bogan that you can be. And there are kind of like traits like racism and that sort of thing. It's just a general like cultural ignorance. So you can be like from like a suburb where you just kind of like live there your whole life and you're just like not aware of other people.
You live in a little bit of a bubble.
Yeah, and like your accent, like the accent is kind of a default thing. Like why I compare it to rednecks is because I feel like there's like a default trait with rednecks where there's always like a kind of a yeehaw accent about it. Whereas like, bogan is like you always have a bit of a fucking drawl and you
got a little bit of that.
Yeah, okay. You sound like very Australian in kind of a cringe way. And you're probably cultural insensitive. You've got like, I don't know, like there's like the stereotype of like the stubbies, like the short shorts and the wife beater.
That's very that's very like like white trashy, where it's like I'm like a trailer park boy and like this is what we got because it's like it's hot out here or something. I don't know, like
that's exactly. I think that the trailer park stereotype is very close to bogan, but just imagine trailer park but Australian.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Thanks for clearing that up. We've covered some ground today. I think that people
demystifying Australia.
Yeah, exactly. The Australian podcast. Sponsored by Triple J. No, I'm just kidding.
Against their will.
Another one I've found is Brekky, and that from what I understand, it's just breakfast.
Yep.
Okay.
Not really much to elaborate there, unfortunately.
You just say it's like, oh, we're gonna eat some brekkie or like whatever. Yeah, like okay.
There's a lot of things that end with
sounds like something I would just say. Yeah, like
exactly.
Like I just shorten stuff sometimes and like okay.
If you said brekkie, I wouldn't even think about it. If you're like, do you want some brekkie? Like even if you say it with a full American accent, that's normal. You're just saying breakfast.
Okay, brekkie. Drongo.
I like that one. Yeah, it's just like idiot, buffoon, fool, fucking drongo. It just sounds good with an Australian accent. I think it's one of those ones that just sounds very Australian, but it's like
kind of sounds like dingo or something like, but
exactly,
but different. Dingo's like a dog almost.
Yeah, I think it's just it's a funny word that ends in an O. I think there's like a anchor point of Australian lingo that just it has to sound kind of funny. So like if it's got like an O or an I on the end, like you say like Savo, you're talking about this afternoon. Like
that was another one, Savo.
Yeah, it's just
why is that like? Or no. It's Arvo.
Yeah, so you're saying, so this afternoon, this Arvo, Sarvo.
Sarvo.
It's really distilled. It's really.
Yeah, it's like you just condensed it into like one word.
Yeah. It's very processed.
I mean, someone would just say that just in like conversation, like Sarvo. What? Okay,
Yeah.
I can't.
What are you doing,
can't.
Sarvo, mate?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got much on Sarvo? It's pretty bogan. Like, you can say Arvo, and that's like normal. If you say Sarvo, that's like you're getting on the bogan end. It's pretty, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
I gotta pee again.
Yeah, go pee. I got some other one. I'm gonna go pee too, actually. All right. Let's continue. I got a couple more here. Ripper.
Oh, Riffer. Yeah, that's positive. That's like, it just means something is like really good. I'm trying to think of like an American equivalent or like a
banger. Oh, well,
yeah, it's like a banger kind of. Yeah,
I kind of thought of it as like a way to describe a song. Like people will be like, that song is like sick or like slaps. It's a banger. It smacks. Like it's just a multitude of different ways to describe a track. And I haven't really heard a ripper, but I kind of want to start using that now to describe tracks.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You'd be like, this is a fucking ripper, mate. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's similar because it's funny. I feel like the term banger used to be more specific to like music, but it's just become more and more broad to the point where you can basically like this sandwich is a banger. Like you can say it pretty generally.
Yeah.
Ripper is a bit like that, but you can also say it as an exclamation. Well, actually, no. I think it's actually very on par with banger. Yeah.
Like someone who's like a surfer and they're ripping, it's like, yo, that's a ripper.
Yeah.
Is that a way to say it?
That may be where it came from. I'm actually not sure, but like, oh, bloody ripper, mate. That's how I think of it in my head. That's the example context. Bloody ripper. I think it can actually just be an expression though. It's like you're just like stoked with something. You're like, oh, bloody ripper. That's sick.
Like you can just say it out of like exclamation, like that you're just hyped about something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. We got squiz.
Have a squiz. Yeah. Have a geeze. Have a gander. Just have a look. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Squiz. Investigate.
Squiz. Okay.
Investigate. To prospect.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Squiz.
This one's not really like we have the same term. A cunt, but even just
I don't think I know this word. What does this mean?
Yeah, no. But I just feel like so like in the States it's like an intense word. Like that's like worse than fuck. Yeah, like calling someone a cunt, like it just boom, like it just hits hard.
It's very percussive.
But I feel like in like I feel like Scotland they do it a lot, or like in Australia it's just like is not it doesn't hold the same weight. Yeah.
I would say, I mean, Scotland's an interesting case, but I would say between Australia and America, it's all to do with the enunciation. I think Australians, like the way we say cunt, like it's just, you virtually don't even say the full word. Like you didn't even hear me say the T, it's just cunt. Like it's so like, it just rolls out so easily that it doesn't feel that aggressive. So yeah, people can just be like, oh, that bloke's a cunt. Oh yeah, how are you, cunt? Yeah, good on you, cunt. You're like, it's just like, it's very like, not that I don't really use that word that often. Funny enough, I think I use it more now that I'm in the States because I've noticed a lot of people started saying it around me because it's like novel. They're like, oh yeah, g'day, cunt. And I'll be like, yeah, why you cunt? But in America, I think the way you guys say cunt, like it's like really the whole word, like cunt. It's like, it does feel more profane when I hear it said with an American accent because you like enunciate the whole thing. It's pretty like intense.
It's intense. Yeah, I don't even feel right saying it. Like my mom listens to this and I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, mom.
At least you packaged it in the context. Like we're gonna talk about this word.
This is for scientific purposes or for cultural understanding. It's an education.
Yeah, this is for research purposes. I like this.
Yeah, research, exactly. I got two more here. Whoop whoop. Like
whoop whoop. Yeah. Out in whoop whoop.
Is that just like another one of those, like you're just like, it's just like a hype, like you're just kind of like, oh, whoop whoop?
No, it describes it's like how you say bumfuck nowhere. Whoop whoop is like, it's not a real town, but it is a town name that you use to describe wherever. Like, I'm sure you have an equivalent where you're like, I don't know if you're talking about
You're
like,
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
how I would say it.
Yeah,
or
so
like
you're out in whoop whoop.
The sticks. That's
Yes.
what people say too.
Yeah, he lives out in fucking whoop whoop. Like, yeah, it's literally, yeah, just nowhere.
Interesting. You're almost like choosing to not name it because it's just like not even relevant.
Yeah, exactly. It perfectly, because there are places, like I feel like anywhere it's like this, there are places that are so rural they have a really weird name, and so you're like, yeah,
like I don't even know what it's called, but it's out there.
Yeah,
like no one really it's why do they even live there type of deal. Like you're kind of like, I gotta go out there, damn.
Yeah, it's fucking whoop whoop.
Okay. Dag?
That's an older one, actually. Yeah. Oh, you're such a dag. Yeah, that's like it's kind of like a dork, not like geeky. It's like generally you say something is daggy or you're a dag. It's kind of more like outdated. Like your parents can be daggy. Or like, funny enough, your dad would do something, you're like, oh, you're such a dag. Like, you're just like, yeah, it's dorky or like, yeah, outdated, unfashionable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, what's the term? Like I can't think of the term. But yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, thank you for taking us through this. Are there any terms that we didn't go over that would be like more like up your alley, maybe specifically, or just like terms that get thrown around? I know that it's regional too. Like, of course, any language stuff, like you can probably hear when someone's from the south end of, or whatever. It's like everything's regional, but
yeah.
Like, is there anything that you specifically like to use that we don't use here in the States?
There is one specific term that comes to mind whenever like somebody asks me about an Australian phrase that they might not have heard, and it's I'm not here to fuck spiders.
Oh, I heard that one.
Cracks me up. Like, the first time I heard it in Australia, I was like, what? It just means that like I'm not here to fuck around. Like I'm not here to mess around. Like I've got shit to do. Like, you know, I'm on a mission. I'm not here to fuck spiders. But it's just like such an obscure, like, I don't know who thought of that. And I feel like there's like a whole list of Australian terms where I'm like, who made that normal? Like, why is that a saying? Like, who was like, yep, we're all gonna say that now. Mm-hmm. None of us are here to fuck spiders. We don't have the objective to have intercourse.
It's like
with
not
spiders.
even a possibility. It's like, it doesn't make any. It's just a ludicrous thing to say. Yeah,
so whack. I don't understand why that became a saying, but it is one.